Oh yes, we get to see how The Rivals is handling in the OCG meta. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that blue eyes button so you guys don't miss out more on this kind of. So we actually get to start off here with what I think is one of the better blue eyes concepts that I've seen. You know, we do get to play 3 of the new blue eyes whose job is to basically tutor us into the maiden. You know, hey, consistency. I will say, though, you know, having access to the Primite package in here is still a good thing, you know. You just need this deck to have consistency in places where maybe consistency wasn't necessarily going to be a discussion. Also, Harmonium slotting into this deck as a 3 of is just crazy toxic to me. You know, we get to see all of these different levels of dedication that you get with a deck like this. It's actually pretty crazy. Also, we do get to play the Cool Tune Synchro in here as well. Oh boy, what I love to see. Consistency. Next up, we have some early Jack Atlas thoughts, or at least in terms of the Resonator good stuff. You know, when you get the ability to cheat out another huge red dragon monster, you know, things are going to get a little bit creative out here. You know, you're going to want to test out some of these ideas and see, oh, hey, you know, what can we do? You know, because this deck's entire purpose has been, you know, one, how big of a board can we make? But, you know, you have so many different powerful boss monsters for you to be able to access. It does get a little bit cheeky to think about, you know, which different lines that we can actually go down and access. And I mean, like, look at this extra deck, man. There are so many powerful synchros in here. Like, it's actually kind of crazy to think about the different levels of toolbox interactions that we can have now. Next up, Rockets. Rockets got pretty much an entire extra extension of madness with this deck. And honestly, creating a rocket monster whose job is to repopulate your field, or at least bring up a crap ton of extra extenders, is a little bit crazier than I feel like we kind of expected to see. Now remember, the OCG still has access to Borreload Savage Dragon, which, you know what, does kind of give you some little cheatable extra madness that you can kind of get to set up with this deck. But outside of that, I think early concept testing for the new Rocket stuff has at least brought people to the idea of, hey, I want to test this. You know, there are some levels of creativity to be had within the space for this, and it's actually not too terrible of a concept to actually kind of think about with deck building. And we have Cyber Dragons. Oh my gosh, man. The amount of people that were super excited to get to testing the new Cyber Dragon stuff. Like, genuinely, I think that the Cyber Dragon stuff is one of the coolest stuff we had. And obviously, new Cyber Dragon not being a new Cyber Dragon monster is a little bit off-putting to some people. It's not going to be the greatest setup in the world. I get that. But I do think that there is something else we have. It's also the new Future Fusion being able to just kind of be a win condition on its own. If you are able to see that, it's crazy. It's also really cool to see, like, we still have Cyber Dark interactions being built into certain levels of decks. That's definitely something that is kind of cool, because this isn't just pure Cyber Dragon. You know, having the Cyber Dark stuff coming along is actually kind of refreshing. Next up, we have more Blue Eyes. You are going to notice we do have a little Rico in here, or one of the Cool Tune monsters, to kind of help us with some of your setup. Now, this is not the first time that we've seen this little Cool Tune monster actually coming along for the ride. It's also interesting to see we are playing the Blue Eyes Fusion spell in here. We're also playing triple Blue Eyes White Dragon itself. You know, they chose to forego the Dragon Master Magia in this list, but they're still choosing to play triple Blue Eyes White Dragon, which I don't necessarily, I guess maybe it's because, like, they are choosing to play the flute. If you are playing the flute, I guess it does make sense to want to have access to those extra little blue eyes. But you're already curving out the deck at 45. You know, I guess maybe they just felt they were a little bit more limited in the design space of the side deck, or maybe something else, but interesting for an early build. Next up, oh my gosh, this is probably the closest thing you're ever going to see to a Kaiba deck being able to see play. And this is actually kind of crazy because we now effectively can build what would be an anime Kaiba deck. And I feel like this would be probably the coolest way to go about it. And especially, hey, casual players, I know you guys love seeing ideas like this. You know, this is what a modern era Kaiba deck looks like. You also have Triple Pet and the Dark Clown down there with Obelisk the Tormentor. To me, that's also really freaking hilarious. Also, seeing Evenly Matched being splashed in this deck is a one of. I'm not going to say that's totally a Kaiba card, but like, that does kind of seem like a very Kaiba interaction. You know, not something I think he'd want to, you know, make, but that's kind of interesting. And then, of course, we do have Galaxy Eyes. Honestly, seeing some Galaxy Eyes fun. I thought Galaxy Eyes was potentially one of the weakest engines we got out of the set, because like you're still forced to rely on OG Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, which unfortunately at this point in time, he's not exactly aged the greatest. And because of that, you know, we do have to kind of really think about, you know, the considerations of the deck just showing age. Now, obviously, you know, the new Photon Orbital helps out the deck immensely. I think we probably are the closest we've ever been to seeing Galaxy Eyes actually be competitive. So this is definitely a good start in the right direction if you were wanting to develop some of the space for a deck like this. Ooh, we have Predaplants. There was a lot. The Predaplants have been kind of picking up steam lately. I don't know if it's just because like the deck has received a pretty big overhaul on the things that it's able to do. Because, I mean, like, we have the new Starving Venom Dragon. There is something to actually be said with that. But just looking at overall board developments and things with this, I just am genuinely very, very curious, you know, what's our end goal here with developments for this, you know? What is going to be, you know, the space that we need to find ourselves in to be the most optimized that we can for this? Because Predaplants, in theory, should work. I mean, you have Ultra Poly, Instant Fusion, Apex Fusion. You have so many custom tutored cards for the deck that it's actually just kind of crazy to think about. Next up here, we have another Cyber Dragon deck. Now, this build has foregone the Cyber Dark cards themselves in favor of being a more optimized powerhouse. Also, shout out to the triple blue eyes down there in the side deck. This is something that a lot of the OCG was talking about. You know, if you're going to have Mall Charming interactions, you're going to have Max C running around in the format, you know, you're going to consider playing the blue eyes because it is a hand trap. You know, this is a card that you can actually actively draw and be able to use as a deterrent against your opponent, you know, and that's going to be a reality that you're going to have to face as this format kind of develops here. Especially, I mean, you're a deck that wants to go second. You know, you're going to be playing the game very, very dangerously in a lot of these scenarios, some of which aren't going to be some of your greatest hits. But I can understand, you know, we have to make those concessions in, you know, play to actually, you know, get to the best of the ends. And we have Pendulums. Gosh, we have Pendulums with rockets. What in the world kind of concoction are we coming up here with OCG? Like, I'm honestly surprised that this is a workable concept in theory, but like, this is a little bit crazy to think about that we have people cooking up ideas like this, and gosh darn it, they're actually working. Like, good job to like the level of creativity that is coming out of some of these lists, because like these are really kind of some scary things. So please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here in a day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.